Hi, and welcome to the NVR Non-Violent Resistance series of small webcasts. My name is Claire O'Donovan. I'm a family engagement worker and an NVR accredited practitioner. Southampton City Council have asked me to put together this series of short videos to help families who are struggling with challenging behaviours from their children. In this section, we're going to talk about the supporters, the NVR strategies for gaining support around ourselves, who we link into, how we link to them, what sort of roles they can take. Supporters from an NVR strategy point of view are crucial. Supporters should ideally be a selection of friends, family, professionals, coaches. What I mean by that is sports coaches, boxing coaches, activity coaches, or community group leaders, youth groups, anything. Trampoline coaches, doesn't really matter. Anybody that's linked, any adult that is a positive influence on your child's life. Ideally, it needs to be somebody that the child values the opinion of. But if there is no one, and I hear that quite often too, I hear parents go, my child doesn't care about what anybody thinks, then you reach out to the people that you believe can give the messages that you want your child to have. Yeah. I would suggest you have maybe a handful of supporters. Putting everything on one person is often a little bit too much. Yeah. You might be on the other end of this camera going, I ain't got no one. My family I don't get on with. All my friends have ditched me because my child's a nightmare, and I have no one. Okay? In that case, reach out to some of the professionals around you. You've probably got some sort of school link. And I know that can be tough when you feel like maybe in a battle with the school, they're not necessarily listening or understanding, but they are your best port of call right now because you need their help. Yeah. There are also other like sort of NVR supports and things like that you can reach out to online and that kind of thing. So there are communities even if you don't feel like you've got anybody right now. Yeah. There are different types of supporters. The active supporters will be those people in your life, whether it be friends, family, professionals, whoever, who are willing to actively participate in the NVR strategies. We're going to come on in more depth to the NVR strategies, but essentially what you're asking these supporters to do is get involved in helping make your child aware that you're not alone with having to try and manage their behaviours. You would notify them when a behaviour happens, when a difficult behaviour occurs. You would notify the handful of supporters that you have. They would make contact with that child in one way, shape or form and just say that they know that that's what happened. If the child wants to talk to them, then they can reach out. You don't think that that's okay, but you're not kind of shaming them. You're not putting them on the spot. They're not being asked to parent on your behalf. They're just being asked to maybe be the link between you and the child to help you and the child understand or talk about what happened. We'll come into it in a later video. Passive supporters, they'll be the people in your life that will agree with what you're doing, but won't necessarily want to get involved in the message campaigns and the other strategies that happen after the behaviour, the discipline side of NVR, if you like. I know quite a number of grandparents and things like that sit in this category. They don't want the relationship to be different between them and their grandchild, so they choose to be supportive, but not necessarily get involved. Yeah, but anybody, it might be friends that actually they're right behind you, but they're not able to actively give time to be involved. The neutrals, those will be the people that don't tend to agree or disagree with the NVR approach and what you're doing. They may sometimes be the people in your life that actually don't even really know what's going on. Colleagues, friends in the gym, maybe, that kind of thing. We're not talking about people who we're talking about people who don't have an opinion one way or the other. Yeah. There will also be their role within that, though. Although they don't have an opinion one way or the other, their role is the support necessarily for you. So it's just a break for you. We all need somewhere where we can go where people don't just constantly talk about our children. And that's quite nice. And so if you've got a neutral space where you can just be you, then that's great. Passive adversaries are those people who quietly disagree with the approach. You'll come across these who'll go, that won't work. What are you doing that for? Why are you not dealing with that behaviour right there, that tantrum right now? Yeah, but they won't necessarily say anything. They'll just look at you and go, what on earth are you doing? The quiet passive adversaries, they will, like I say, they will quietly not agree with what you're doing, but they won't necessarily say anything. The most dangerous types of supporters, or most difficult types of supporters, are those active adversaries. Those are the people in yours and your child's life who will actively undermine your approach in front of you and possibly even your child. Those people who blatantly stand when you're trying to deal with behaviour and go, that won't work, why aren't you dealing with it? If you try and change somebody's active adverse opinion to the approach that you're using into somebody who's completely on board and wants to get involved, you're probably wasting your time. You're better off just asking those active adversary people who have a negative opinion and are undermining you to sit down and be quiet politely. You are more likely to get them to a point where they won't say anything. They're unlikely to ever agree with you, but you will hopefully get them to a place where they will at least be quiet and respect that that's the decision that you've made. But yeah, those are the types of supporters. The more active supporters and passive supporters that you can get, the better. But you only really need half a dozen active supporters that will get involved. Yeah? Okay. Message campaigns. Talked about them just now. We are going to go into them again in another video, but we'll do this one as now. So the message campaigns is what you're asking your supporters to get involved in. Your children's behaviour isn't going to change overnight. There will be times when, even though you've clearly said, you know, I don't want you to do that anymore, they are going to do these things. The supporters will then be notified by you. Your active supporters will be told by you that that's what's happened. The young person will then become aware that the parent is no longer alone and that a number of people are worried about them. They're not going to be told off by your supporters. They're not going to be chastised or punished. They're just going to be told that they know that they did that and that's not nice. Or they know that they did that and that's not okay. Yeah. It can be text, card, email, maybe a passing comment. If it's a teacher, sometimes it's just, did you want to have a chat? If it's a grandparent, it might be somebody, you know, the next time they pop round and say, actually, do you know what, I heard on Tuesday you had a really difficult day. If you want to talk about it, then I'm here. And that's it. Not a request or a demand for explanation or anything, just that I know, if you want to talk about it, I'm here. Yeah? Okay, text, emails, online calls at the moment seem to be the thing. It's difficult to see people. But, you know, it might be a text message or a WhatsApp message or an online video call or something. Anything that just reaches out and tells that child that you are not alone as a parent and people care. That's the end of the supporter section. And I hope that helps. Again, like I was saying at the beginning, finding support for yourself around these challenging behaviours is crucial. Please don't ever feel like you're alone. And if you feel like you're alone, then you need to reach out to the professionals, ideally your schools, as a first port of call. And then they will point you in the right direction of the people that you need. I hope that's helpful.